Well, hello. Today is the story of Aspen getting rescued. Aspen was a beautiful little dog that had a trouble past and needed to get from Charleston, South Carolina to up to New Jersey, but we were called at the last minute and turned out to be a huge trip. It was a cold and chilly late December morning when we set off. We took off in our home base in Raleigh, North Carolina, off to Charleston, South Carolina, and then up the East Coast to Georgetown, Delaware.
2131 in the box.
Measure note 431 in back correct.
Thank you very much.
So off into the morning sun we taxied, and I have to tell you that these flights don't happen just because of us, just because of Pam and I here at Pilot.dog. They happen because of all the kind people who participate, including Play-Doh Pet Treats, who donates pet treats that we give to the rescues and the shelters and the pilots that we meet. And then there's Smiling Dog Coffee, who donates a percentage of the sales of their coffee, and they donate coffee to us to give to the shelters, the rescues, the fosters, and the pilots that we meet as a reward for the job that they do. I mean, it's just so amazing, the stuff that people contribute. And then Dubert.com is a fantastic website. It's free for everybody to use. You can get involved in animal rescue either as a driver or as a pilot, and I think it's the best website out there to use to coordinate the transfers of these animals. So our taxi out on that bright, cold December morning turned out to be more of a driving adventure to begin with. They turned the runways around. What that means is that they changed the direction that the planes were taking off and landing as we came out. So we had to drive felt like 2 miles down to the other end of the runway to take off. But we were all set inside. Kathy Phelan was our volunteer for the day, and Kathy was enjoying the view. And then Pam and I up front, just taking a look around, getting ready, thinking mentally about, is everything ready? Are we good to go? And off we drove. And drove. And drove. And it was so chilly that morning that there were some planes. It's hard to see in this view, but there's a plane sitting off to the right there with a bucket truck being de-iced. Man, that guy must have been cold up there. That's not a job I wanted.
Bucket's gotta be cold.
Gotta be.
See?
Just de-ice this guy. Belton.
I just want to share some quick pictures with you about Aspen, and you can see what's coming up. It's worth watching the whole video to see how great she is. So as I said, we responded to a request to transport Aspen from her foster home in Charleston, South Carolina, because Jennifer, the foster mom, was going out of town. Karen from Safe and Sound Rescued could not find another foster for Aspen down there in Charleston, and was afraid that Aspen would have to go back into a shelter. The shelters were so overrun in South Carolina because of the floods, they'd recently had their kill rate higher than normal. So we decided to fly to Charleston, South Carolina, pick up Aspen, fly her up the East Coast to Delaware, and get her headed to a new home. Eventually, we made it down to the end of the runway.
Passenger 431, caution Lake turbulence from the departed Embraer jet, flighting 090, runway 5 right, clear for takeoff.
All right, 090, watch for the wake turbulence, 5 right, clear for takeoff.
As you can see, the sun was just right in our eyes as we were getting ready to go.
fun.
What?
This is gonna be fun.
The weather was cooperating, and it was just going to be a great flight.
All right, everybody good to go?
Roger.
So, off we go. Originally, we were supposed to go to Charleston, South Carolina to pick up Aspen and bring her right back here to Raleigh, North Carolina, where we would meet another pilot to take her to Georgetown, Delaware. But we couldn't find another pilot, so we flew her all the way. Aspen had been rescued off the streets, as you'll hear, and she'd had a number of health issues stemming from being abandoned and drinking contaminated water during the terrible South Carolina floods.
Compassion 431, connect departure, we'll see.
Off to departure. Thank you so much. Good day.
Good day.
Raleigh departure, Compassion 431.
Compassion and Compassion 431, Raleigh departure radar contact, climb and maintain 4,000.
Up to 4,000. I'm on a 090 heading.
Roger.
And we entered the knitting portion of our flight. That's what happens when you take a couple of knitters on board. And they did keep themselves occupied, and there were no injuries to report during the manic knitting phase of the flight. The skies were so bright and open that it made the views below just extra special. More knitting. Let the knitting continue. The approach to Charleston, South Carolina is always one of my favorites. I love the windy rivers, and you're right on the coast, and the town is so beautiful. It's one of my favorite approaches into an airport. As you'll see, the ride looked pretty smooth, but we got close to landing, and it got a little gusty down there. You'll see the plane rocking back and forth. But the landing itself, no problem. And then we arrived in Charleston, where we met up with Jennifer and her daughter, who had Aspen. Aspen was very shy and scared. She was now 12 weeks old and weighed 17 pounds. The best guess is that Aspen is a white lab shepherd mix. You know, it's hard to tell with these rescues who are found on the road. Everyone does their best to try to, guesstimate exactly who mom and dad were.
Compassion 431, turn right on runway 3, and then right at the end, contact ground point 91 off.
Right on 3, right at end. 431.
I have to give a kudos to Landmark Aviation in Charleston, South Carolina. The folks there were just amazing. Thank you so much for the great help that day. Hi there.
Hi.
We're videotaping you for the. And who?
Aspen.
Aspen. Hi, Aspen. So soft. Yeah. Kathy is our designated cuddler on this flight.
Yeah. Hi, Sean. I was telling her, I said she was 5 weeks old,
Uh-huh.
and she was tossed out of a moving vehicle.
Oh.
Yep. So she's had some healing process to do. She's a little nervous with car rides, but we do good.
Well, what will happen is, I'm sure the nurse in the back, we're going to put her in a harness. We'll tether her to the back. When the motor comes off, we'll turn it on. She won't go back. I get I guarantee it.
Yeah.
She's scared.
Yeah.
You know what? It's just like a child. You just have to reinforce them. And then she knows that you're there. It's okay. Yes. Are you chilling with Rob like before you too? So you be nice and
Well,
toasty.
this goes with her.
Okay.
Yep.
Where's the gift bag?
Thank you. My head. Sorry.
So our sponsors, which are Play-Doh Pet Treats and Smiling Dog Coffee,
Yeah.
sent
like
you some
coffee?
goodies.
I think pumpkin coffee, and I gotta tell you, it's the best I'm not a big coffee drinker. I do like coffee, but this is the best pumpkin coffee I've ever had in my life.
And those pet treats, our dogs love them.
Oh my gosh, the dogs absolutely love them. Now, did you all find her?
I had a friend of mine contact me to let
Saw it happen?
that. Well, she's a friend. A family member of my friends had contacted me and said, "I need your help." She had a fungal infection on all four of her paws, and she had intestinal parasites that we fought with because of the floodwaters. She was found right after the flood we had.
You should know the truth. Here.
Yep, she was
Well,
four.
you can see my eyes.
She was 4 pounds when we found her.
You should know.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, and she's almost 17 now.
You're precious. You're going to go to a nice new home.
Well, we're going to take good care of her in flight.
Oh, absolutely. And the gentleman that we're flying to, he will not put her in a crate. He says he's the pilot. He goes, I will hold her, or she can sit next to me.
Yeah, that's what I said. She gets a little whiny with craze.
So here's some pictures of Aspen that we took at the Charleston airport. I really don't need to say anything about them because she's just so damn cute. There's Pam on the left and Kathy on the right, and Aspen in the center. Loaded up and we're getting ready to head on out of Charleston, fly up the East Coast. Time to go. Let's get this show on the road. You know, one of the cool things about taking off out of Charleston Airport is there's a military base there, so you get to see all these big military aircraft. You'll see them when we lift off. Who's up for a 3-hour flight? I am. Now look out the window on my side, and you'll see the whole ramp full of military transport aircraft. Wait for it. Wait for it. So we got all settled in flight. Kathy was comforting Aspen, just rubbing her. Aspen was all comfortable. She wasn't scared at all during the flight. So then we entered the, hey, let's have a snack phase, since we had about 3 hours to fly. And you'll notice that Aspen had various stages and positions of cuddling. It was one blanket and another blanket, and then all wrapped up and all swaddled and then not. Thank you, Kathy Phelan. You were awesome. Hey, where are we now? Yeah, we're still in the air, and we're not almost there yet. You know, these flights are all about the dogs. The focus is all on the dogs. But I almost always leave out some amazing scenery we see on the way. So in the James River in Virginia, here's what's called the Dead Fleet that's anchored there in case the Navy needs them. Here's Busch Gardens in Williamsburg. The place, of course, empty in the middle of the winter, but flew directly over that. And then we spent a lot of time flying up the Chesapeake Bay. Tangier Island, other islands, little homes out there. They look precariously perched on the edge of land that hopefully will be around. But there are, little grass, green neighborhoods down there. Channels where these boats come in and out. And it was, I don't know if majestic is too big of a word, but it was pretty damn cool looking over all this scenery since we had time. We were racing this boat here at the end. Of course we won. We're going 170 miles an hour. And soon we were in Georgetown, Delaware, at the Delaware Coastal Airport, getting ready to land, and we met up with Ron, the pilot who would be the next leg pilot up to New Jersey.
This is the blanket. This is hers. And she likes to be bundled up in it.
Oh, you're beautiful.
5 weeks old, she was thrown out of a car.
Thrown out on purpose.
Yeah. Purpose.
Which is why she's a little afraid of cars.
Yeah, she's really afraid of cars. She's a little scared of people.
Yeah.
But she's a sweetheart. She had worms, and it was during the floods, and she had on her paw mange.
No.
And when she's got
Viral,
and all her medical records.
viral infection or something. I don't know.
So they got
Fungus.
all that. She's been healing.
Cool.
So she's 12 weeks. She's 17 pounds.
She looks real healthy.
She is.
Yeah.
She's
When they
sweet.
picked her up, she weighed 4 pounds.
Whoa. And how many weeks?
She was 5 weeks old.
So in 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
Is she going to an adoption or foster first?
She's going to she's actually going to Kathy, the rescue,
Okay.
first.
We picked her up from the foster.
Yeah.
Right, and they're going to foster her up there until they find an adopter.
Yes, she will
Yeah.
take care of her. I believe at her house. I'm not
okay.
positive.
And this is Tom. I don't know if I
Hi,
introduced
Tom.
you.
Nice to meet you. We have our sponsor is Play-Doh
Oh, really?
Pet treats.
So those are for you. Do you have?
Thank
I'm
you.
sure you have dogs.
Yeah, I have a dog.
So those are little treats for
Oh,
you.
thank you.
And these are all her things, her medical
Okay.
records and some toys and her bowl and she comes with a blanket and
She really did. She just needs to be loved. And
Yeah.
she is.
We'd love to love them. Yeah, I'm sure you did. And she was where, and you picked her you're up where?
We flew from Raleigh to Charleston, South Carolina, and then up here.
Charleston, South Carolina.
Yes, we had to go to Charleston.
Was it, you have a 172?
182.
182.
Yeah.
So it's been, it's been a long flight, and we have another 2-hour flight home. So
Well, let me get on my way.
And it was time to load Aspen up into the care of Ron and his friend Tom, who were going to fly her up to New Jersey. Ron was an amazing guy, and again, another person who plays a role in a much bigger effort to rescue dogs. Thank you, Ron, so much for meeting us in Georgetown. Aspen certainly looked like she was in good hands, and reports were that she arrived just perfect. It's always hard saying goodbye to the dogs. We only have them for a short time, but we become so attached to them. So this is Kathy Phelan, and she was our volunteer on our flight today with Aspen. So Kathy, tell us why you wanted to volunteer with Pilot.dog.
Because you're saving dogs. There's no better thing to volunteer for, in my opinion.
And how was the flight for you?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Aspen was a sweetheart. Aspen
Awesome.
was a really good little dog.
Thank you. And then it was time for the trip home, which is always when you're the most tired and the most emotionally rewarded. It was a good day. And Pam heard from Karen that Aspen's doing great in her new foster home, and her adoption is waiting to be finalized. Thank you so much for watching this video and being a part of the Pilot.dog family. You can be a part of our dog rescue team. Just visit us at Pilot.dog and become a patron. You can pledge as little as $1 a month. You can set a cap on how much you want to give each month. It doesn't matter. Any amount helps. Please help us save dogs.